Hey guys, it's Wednesday, July 25th, 2018. You're watching the Daily Mix TV by hillSTORY Marketing. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. We have to start today off with a little bit of sad news. Last night, now former CEO of Fiat, Chrysler Automotive, and Ferrarii, Sergio Marchionne, passed away at the age of 66 due to complications from surgery. We talked the other day about how the automotive czar, who merged the two worst performing auto companies in the world, Fiat and Chrysler, which ultimately became a cash cow. Sadly, Marchionne was removed from his post as CEO of both companies over the weekend due to health concerns. Marchionne was a maverick his entire career who flew by the seat of his pants brilliantly. May he rest in peace. Chick-fil-A is branching out into the meal kit business. The fast food chain announced it will sell 5 varieties of mealtime kits at 150 restaurants in the Atlanta area through mid-November. While only a test, the chain does hope to roll this out nationwide after testing is completed. The varieties, which will rotate in availability and cost $15.89, include dishes like chicken parmesan, pan-roasted chicken, and chicken enchiladas. Now, Chick-fil-A's new venture is the latest move in a very competitive market. Now, we've talked about this a handful of times on the Daily Mix TV. Remember, Albertsons bought Plated last year. Blue Apron continues to dominate in a lot of different ways. You've got, Kroger is launching a food kit program. So you've got all of these companies and retailers that are pushing out into the meal kit sector. It is a very hot space. However, when a company like Chick-fil-A, which is known to be a traditional conservative company, but also a disruptor, gets into that space, you know you're in trouble. They have fans like you wouldn't believe, so they are going to gravitate to this new test if it works and it gets rolled out nationwide. Now, Costco, interestingly enough, is starting to sell Blue Apron kits in their stores. We said that Albertsons bought Plated, so they're rolling Plated out inside their stores. I believe they already have it. And you've got a handful of others that are getting into the mix, including Whole Foods and so on. So it's a really crowded space, and I really hope for Chick-fil-A's sake that this works out for them, because it could set a new precedent in the QSR space. Only time will tell. In a rare gaffe, it looks like Mastige retailer Target has made a faux pas with their latest urban store opening. Target opened over the weekend in New York's East Village neighborhood, where they tried to placate the locals by emulating the former tenant. Beloved legendary music venue and basically punk headquarters, CBGB's. As you can see, they tried to make people feel better about it by literally mimicking the once iconic front of house of CBGB's. Sadly, this kind of programming can be a toss-up, folks, depending on the market. But in New York, which Target should have known, this kind of shtick does not work, especially when it comes to our favorite venues. It only serves to piss people off. Now, knowing Target, they will figure out a make good, and they'll make it right, and they'll make everyone happy. Here's to hoping that works out for them. Oh boy. There was a massacre on Monday in New York. No, I'm not talking about a shooting or a protest or anything like that. Sadly, the New York Daily News lost half of its newsroom staff to layoffs. Owner Tronc announced on Monday that they were going to do the layoffs with very little other information attached to it. Now, it comes out today that, in fact, they made these cuts without any plan to fix the problem. The announcement saw the editorial team reduced to about 40 staff, especially for a newspaper that once employed hundreds upon hundreds of people. The 99-year-old tabloid, which has won 11 Pulitzer Prize for stories, was bought by Tronc in 2017. Now, here's why I have a problem with this story, and I find it incredibly irritating. People are blaming Tronc when the reality is that former owner Mort Zuckerman completely ignored the internet for years, resulting in the loss of tens of millions of dollars in revenue. Now, the reality is, much like the music business, when you ignore innovation like this, that has a mass effect, a mass sea change in terms of consumer behavior, You have to adopt that technology. You've got to embrace it and you've got to move forward. So when the Daily News finally decided to go on the internet and start pushing out, it was far too late. The New York Post is already dominating the tabloid circuit in New York City. There is a reason why Zuckerman sold it to Tronc for $1, folks. People need to start holding the right people accountable and stop this knee-jerk blame reaction to everything, especially in politics. The world will be a much more pleasant place. Now, the number of people cutting the cord in traditional paid TV service will skyrocket from about 25 million last year to 33 million this year, according to a study by eMarketer. On the other side of that coin, though, streaming services are booming. Nearly 148 million people in the U.S. tune into Netflix, at least once a month, with 89 million tuning in to Amazon Prime. Then you've got 55 million who watch Hulu. Now, Variety came out after this study was released, stating that eMarketer only tracks the number of watchers and not households. That is the measure used by traditional TV services. Look, at the end of the day, sadly, this is no different than retail in terms of the failure to innovate and pivot business models based on consumer behavior. I really do wish that more companies would understand this, as it's so important in the ever-changing information age. Research, research, research. If you're not deploying a marketing program that is based on quality research that you've gone out and sourced or you've done yourself, then you're going to have a problem. It is basically an informed insurance policy that will help you to better perform in your marketing platform. So here's to, companies like Spectrum and Comcast getting their act together and finally innovating and pivoting their models. Now, for a little way back Wednesday, you remember this?
Caddyshack, starring Chevy Chase as Ty Webb.
Who is that disgusting man over there?
A sportsman who really knows how to score.
So, what brings you to this nape of the woods, neck of the wave? How come you're here?
Rodney Dangerfield as Al Servant, a big shot.
My dinghy's bigger than your whole boat!
With an even bigger mouth.
Hey, somebody step on a duck?
Ted Knight as Judge Smales, a man of dignity and a sense of fair play.
I've sentenced boys younger than you to the gas chamber.
On this day, 38 years ago, Caddyshack premiered, starring Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Ted Knight, Bill Murray, and Michael O'Keefe. I really miss movies like this that you can just watch and laugh at. In closing, last night the world heard the news that music sensation Demi Lovato was hospitalized after allegedly overdosing on heroin. Lovato's been very open and vocal about her addiction to drugs. She was clean for 6 years and basically acted as an advocate for young people to stay away from drugs and alcohol. Look, folks, there is one truth I can assure you of with respect to this story. Addiction is for life. It's a battle every day to fend off those demons, and relapses happen. It is so important for those around addicts to understand this, and that they need to be there to support them. Addiction is, in fact, a disease, not a late-night joke. Please, if you know an addict, remember, they're only human and can falter at any time. If they do, be there for them. It will make all the difference in the world. Get them the help that they need and be there as part of their support system, which is so important to their recovery. I really do hope that out of this, Demi Lovato comes out and starts talking about relapses and the fact that they do happen and what to do to try and help. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO of hillSTORY Marketing. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow.